Pickaxe.
Wednesday begins Cast Party's 3-year anniversary celebration. We have so much in store for you, from free exclusive content to brand new merch dropping, and we cannot wait to share the excitement with all of you. Speaking of merch, all patrons get early access starting today to pick up their brand new Cast Party merch and grab some old designs from the vault that we're bringing back. Yes, even free tier patrons get the early access password. Patreon.com/castparty to get the password, grab the brand new Get Stoked official band merch, the Sweat with Jet official workout line, old favorites like the Matthias's University sweater, and so much more. Stay tuned on Wednesday for your first of many exclusive free episodes as well. The after party awaits, where we finally play through the plot of Through the Realms of Myria, the movie that started it all. Thank you all so much for 3 whole years of Cast Party. Enjoy the episode, cast and crew.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Fables of Fendraeya, Wyldacre. My name is Jose Polino, or at DM Jose G, and other fun socials and all those kinds of things that we're currently trying to figure out. And I will be your director for today's glorious and wonderful celebration. I am joined, of course, by my very confused cast and crew. So we'll begin with Ryan.
Hi, Ryan McManus, and I'll be playing Fiffin, the Maker Taker Hater Satyr. You can find me on my personals at Ryan.McManus or run on the Cast Party socials at Cast Party D&D.
Nigel.
Hello, Nigel Deacon playing Pond, your favorite froggy friend who's found his forever family. You can find me at Nigel Sucks LMAO on every social that matters.
Betty.
Hi, my name is Betty. I play Quinn, the mighty owlin who is as righteous as she is small. What's the other? Oh yes, I am who.the.lovely on TikTok and Instagram.
And finally, we have Seth.
Hi everyone, I'm Seth. I play Cheese the Dog, and you can find me at Noctopus on TikTok and at knock.topus on Instagram and Threads.
Last time we met, you all wandered into the fountain in the center of the domain of the Archfey, where you found that there is like a maze of sorts deep within this fortress, the Nightwell Fortress. Having spent some time down here, you decided that your journey had gotten to a point of no real sense of control. Everything that was happening around you seemingly was meant to never really let you in on what's truly going on. Pond, you talked with the individual at the very top of the steps leading into the Nightwell Fortress, also revealing that this individual has been speaking to you as well. Didn't appreciate being lied to. Yermo was behaving very erratic and really needing to meet with the Archfey. Naturally, you went down a water fountain, Floor grew up to a teen, and Yermo shrunk down to a baby. And you sent him back up through the fountain to get him out of your hair. But with that, you guys then discovered this maze that had a lot of hidden messages and conversations from these two individuals that you heard being called Blightmore and Namora, that were very excited to prove themselves to their father, but also to the Archfey. To what end, you're not really sure, as it definitely seems like whatever is at play here has all different kinds of intentions. But sure enough, you followed the same path. You eventually came to what was the formal entrance for them to be able to meet the Archfey, and at that point, you notice that all of the art around the framed portraits that are in this space, this also similar circle-like room, was all of another place. That's not Wyldacre, it's not the Feywild, it's not anything that most of you would be aware of except for Pond and Cheese. So then at that point, Pond, you decided to step into this center cylinder-like space with sand that instead of sinking downward, it was going up. And in that you stepped on it, shot up through this open space above you into the central throne room of the Archfey, where you saw the same individual with the vibrant red hair, the 3 accomplices that have been with him the entire time, a baby Yermo in the hands of one of them, Quinn, another owl that looks like your mother, a woman laying down, pawn that you couldn't even make out what she looked like, and then another woman that I guess technically you wouldn't know who she is, but we know to be Marakar. In that, as you shoot up and arrive, the centerpiece where the throne, where the individual would sit, beholden of all of this incredible wonder, the Archfey itself seems to be encapsulated in that same Jasper-like stone that you all encountered with Floor a couple of days ago. That's where we pick up. As Pond, when you shoot up and you levitate into space for a moment, all 3 of the other scoundrels, if you will, that have been hot on your tail for some time and then you encountered for a brief moment, they all look and smile wildly, like very just unnatural, and you see just vibrant red eyes. Their pupils are just completely engulfed in what looks like vibrant magma almost. And you float up. Are you allowing yourself to land?
I think I would allow myself to land.
Cold, white marble floor with that iridescent, like diamond-like crust to it. The tall golden pillars with the purple tapestry that is decorating this entire space definitely gives you that regal sense that, you know, this is an ancient place where a lot of history and a lot of time has passed here. But you can't help but notice that when you land onto the floor, your feet are immediately covered in dust. There has just been some time that has passed. There's these man-made cages where these other individuals are being housed. And as soon as you arrive, the taller individual looks over to you with the red hair and he leans down and he goes, "Would you look at that? We meet again. Great timing. I believe it's, what would we call this? Family meeting time. What are the rest of you doing?"
As soon as Pond is out of sight, I dive in myself.
Quinn is also gonna fly up as soon as Pond starts to rise.
Yep, if everyone is rushing towards the sands and going in, I'll just dive right forward.
So the 3 of you then press through. Cheese, you are shot upwards and you're allowing yourself to land as well, or is there anything you wish to do?
I'll allow the trip to take course.
Same with Fiffin and Quinn.
I don't see there being any reason for Fiffin to try to stop whatever's happening. Just kind of letting it happen. He doesn't understand it.
All of you, one by one, land and you're greeted with the same visage that Pond was showcased as he arrived. And this individual, now that you see him up close, burgundy-like skin and hair that's tied in the back, kind of has like a sway to it. Like it feels like it's constantly either like underwater or flowing with the breeze, but it's still just very much contained. And he leans down and he says, "What a privilege. I haven't met any of you. I've only met this one. I believe introductions are in order. What are your names?"
Pond is like super tight-lipped right now, just like nervous and concerned, not sure how to proceed. So he's just kind of standing there, basically frozen.
Before I say my name, can I just quick smell the area, try and get a vibe of just like, can I smell the mood? I don't know this guy. He's talking to me. I don't know him.
How are you smelling the mood?
Well, when I say smelling the mood, I'm more trying to smell this guy.
Sure, so you're trying to do an insight?
Yeah, an insight. That's an 8.
You don't know if it's you, being wet and drenched and running through this maze with your individual party members where you crawl through tight spaces. So, there's like a slight stench to the air, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell whether it's from you or it's from anybody else as far as the smell goes. And then as far as when you're looking at this individual before you, there is something about it that seems off. And when you smell the literal smell in front of you, it just doesn't help it.
Then if I don't immediately peg him as a bad guy, I just go, I'm cheese, and I do a little backflip.
Sounds good. Bjordor, the Minotaur, as soon as you flip and you say cheese, turns their head rapidly.
I like cheese.
I growl. So do I.
Welcome, cheese. I'm glad you could make our family congregation. I'm truly glad. I've been keeping my eye on you for some time. I am Omis. I'm sure you've heard of me, but I can assure you that what you have heard, what you have listened to and been privy to, is it fair to say it's all wrong? I don't know. Who's next?
You know, Omis, actually, we've never heard of you.
You watch as Wania turns around to you, head sort of like creaked over, red vibrant eyes, and goes, Quinn. We like Quinn. Omis looks back and goes, settle down, settle down. Pats Wania and then looks over to you and goes, then that's all right with me, Quinn. I hope to have had some behind the scenes impact on you all, but such is life sometimes. We have to get our hands dirty when we don't mean to. But welcome, I'm glad you could make it as well. And you, Fiffin. At this point, it's more of a joke to ask for your name.
Oh, well, yeah, that was kind of unnecessary, but okay. Everyone else got to say their name.
And from behind, Rook, the orc, looks over and goes, he can build me all the things I want, father. And Omis goes, all in time. Shall we? And at that point, behind you, from where you currently are, the main door is behind you. But it's been barricaded with other slight pieces of Jasper that are preventing the door from being opened on this side. And as Omis stands up, he very not elegantly, in the ways that you have seen Arcane Beam practice, quickly flicks his fingers, and these stumps of trees and bark, almost like a campsite, begins to form in a circle in the center of the space. And then one larger one that befits his size and stature forms, completely charred and burned stump of wood. And he walks over, and Wania, Rook, and Bjordor, they all walk with him, and they all sit in separate seats all throughout. And Omis, oh, that's good. And where he is standing to the left of the Jasper. So he essentially, if you were to look at him, you can only see him and the creature encased within. And Omis goes, come on, take a seat with us. I think you were not prepared for this. My condolences, I believe you're missing one. You look around and Floor's not with you.
Oh God.
Oh, shoot.
Buddy, shoot.
He's a teen.
He's rebellious at this point. We should have known he wouldn't jump into the sand.
Crap.
Teens hate sand. Have I clocked Marikar since landing here?
You look, and inside one of the cages now, to your left, you recognize her. She has crawled up, seemingly unconscious, on the ground behind these cages, if you will. But you recognize her hair, you recognize her body, but you would know, that's her. Quinn, you see what looks like your mother in a similar sort of posture, seemingly unconscious, to the right of you.
In a cage?
In a cage as well.
How far away are they from us?
From where you are at the entrance, 40 feet.
I'm running up to Marikar's cage. I'm looking back and forth between Omis and Marikar, but I'm barking my head up, trying to wake Marikar up.
You bark loudly, one after the other. It even echoes in the empty hall. No movement. And from the distance, Bjordor.
Jeez. Come sit here next to me, boy.
Pats over on the mess of twigs and pieces of scattered wood.
I made a spot for you, Cheese.
What What did you all do to our family here? What did you do to them?
Omis raises his hand slightly and he goes, "No need to raise your voice. It's all right. We're here to have a discussion. We're here to do as families do.
Families don't put people in cages.
We're here to talk about the best way to move forward amidst all of this, how did you put it, confusion."
Plenty of that.
"Good. Fiffin, sit here next to me." And Omis looks to you and there's like a slightly thinner stump next to him right in front of the Archfey as well. And he looks over to it and looks over to you, faint, slight smile forming.
Are we just talking? Or are we talking serving?
Well, there's no need for anything else. We're just talking. We all have something here that we're interested in. We're all here to achieve something, so let's talk. Let's hash this out, lad.
Where might everyone else sit?
There are plenty of spaces for everyone. And you notice that there is definitely a lot more. Not all of them are sitting together. They have clearly made it a point where Omis is sitting in one chair while Waynia sits on another opposite from him and on the other two sides.
Turn to Quinn and Pond. Honestly, I don't think talking is a bad idea in a case like this. I mean, unless you think we're just trying to, like Pond said, just go guns blazing. But I feel like they're gonna just know our every move at this point, so talking might be the best route.
I think we should hear them out.
I will return to the group. I think with my doggy ears, I probably overheard that. Unless you have some real good words, they aren't leaving here alive, Fiffin.
I'm worried we're not gonna leave here alive. I want to make sure that we can save everybody here, and I don't know how we can do that.
Cheese has murder in his eyes, so if that doesn't tell you where Cheese is right now on the diplomacy versus brutality scale.
Listen, I know Pond is ready to jump on it as well. It might be good to go for words instead of fists, just for now. For now. There's always backup plan. Except I feel like he just knows that we're talking about this right now. Pond? You seem petrified.
I'm nervous about everyone that's here. If something goes wrong, I don't want there to be casualties about people we care about. So I agree. Let's hear him out. Cheese, know that I'm right here with you if things go awry.
Fiffin will look up at Omis without saying anything, just to hang his head a little bit, and trot over to the stump.
The rest of you are following suit or staying behind.
Quinn is following suit, but she's gonna fly over to the cage where her mom is first and watch her mom for like 5 to 10 seconds and just see that she can watch her chest rise and fall a couple of times to confirm that hope is not lost yet.
Rise and descent. Then Fiffin, as you trotting your way over to Omis in that empty stump, as you're getting a little closer, Omis goes, "I'm sorry, lad, that seat's taken." And he, from the stump, pushes his hand through and pulls out this long mane, lion-like face of an individual, a Leonin, and he sits him down and he goes, "You can actually sit next to me." And limp, without any color to their skin, almost like being propped up by some magical means, the Leonin sits next to Omis. And you take a moment to look at this body basically being propped up. And then Omis pats on the stump to his left and goes, "You can sit here."
Oh, I have so many questions about what happened, but mainly, who is that? And why did they take my seat?
It's a good question. We can bring this up. How that makes you feel would be good to express. We're all just a family, and we want to take care of you, Fiffin. We want to take care of Quinn. We want to take care of everyone. We want to take care of Torin. We want everybody. We just want to do what we can. All right? So that is a Simus. And you watch as puppet strings form above Simus, and the two paws sort of like go up and wave at you. And you see from the very bottom, underneath his elbow, Omis is kind of like puppeting the limp body.
Great. I'll take a seat as I just try to process everything.
Omis gets up and he goes, Quinn, will you be joining us?
Quinn is gonna preen her beak on the bars of the cage just a couple of times and then fly up and over. She's gonna sit next to Wanya. Is a seat taken?
She looks over, her head sort of like creaks in a very unnatural fashion to you and goes, not at all, my love.
Her feathers ruffle a little bit as she kind of settles in next to Wanya.
Omis walks over and he goes, oh, apologies, we're missing family members. He places his hand through another tree stump and he pulls featherless, this Kenku-like body, and he hoists it up and props it and goes, we were missing someone, I'm so sorry. Cheese.
Cheese approaches his designated stump, glaring at Fyodor. Puts his front paws on it and tries to jump and probably misses it a couple times, and then manages to claw his way up onto the stump.
Fyodor looks over at you and goes,
Can I pet the good boy?
and then raises their hand. Again, just very much in a robotic-like pattern above you.
Hard growling at him right now.
Give me an intimidation check.
An 11?
He leaves his hand there and looks over to Omis and goes, respect those boundaries. Come on, son. And Fyodor.
All right.
And then places his hand back in the center of his chest and then looks over to Omis. So as it stands now, we have Zymus next to Omis, Omis next to Fiffin, Quinn, next to you is Wanya, and there's Cheese, and there's Fyodor. Essentially, there is somebody between every single person. And then Omis stands there and looks, and he's counting, and he goes, and the liar, where are you going to be sitting? And he points to you, Pond.
Pond doesn't move. He's just holding eye contact with him, frog squatting right where he landed.
Gotta give the boy some time. This will be a tough conversation, and I would understand if any of you wanted to leave. However, you can't. So we're just gonna be clear about that, okay? Full honesty here. You tell me what I want to hear, and I will tell you what you want to hear, and then we will have ourselves a wonderful celebration. Can we agree on that? And he smacks your back really, really hard, Fiffin.
Oh, God.
And he just leaves it there with the two prominent fingers over your shoulder slightly. All right, where's the boy?
I mean, honestly, I wish we knew at this point.
He could be anywhere.
Wonderful. Cheese, you want to give me another one, too?
He's a teenager at a theme park. It's anyone's guess where he is.
You clearly know about Floor, and you clearly know what he's capable of. Who's to say he's not miles and miles away from here right now? Just with the snap of a finger.
Probably could be. Okay, then let's do this. Since the boy is not here, then let's have a conversation about the boy. You all brought him here. Why? Any particular reason?
Floor isn't from this plane, and we wanted to keep him safe and get him someplace where we can find a way home for him.
You watch as Omis sort of like sitting on the larger stump. He looks over to you and his hand moves, and the Leonin in a puppet-like form looks up. Omis is doing this thing where he curls his slip slightly, and then the Leonin's mouth props open, but not following very much in a very sort of like puppet-like form where you follow the words exactly. It's just kind of like the jaw drops, and you hear, but neither are you. And Omis gives like a slight chuckle, and he goes, you're not from here either, Cheese. Do we return you to where you need to go? Would that solve this problem? Would it solve it for him? And points over to Pond.
If there's anything that I've learned after the past few days to months that I've been here, it's that home isn't a place. It's people. It's the people that you're with. And I found that family with my friends here, And with the person you have in that cage there.
I growl a little bit again.
Make an intimidation check for me.
It's not a good number. That's a 9.
Oh.
You watch as Bjordor looks to you and goes,
That was beautiful. I like a good animal with good heart. I like to eat it raw.
Calm down, Bjordor. We don't eat family around here. We're, as Chi said, we're a family. We're home now. We're all home. Which is good. Then this will be a safe space for a time. Okay. So the boy is not from here, so you decided to bring him further into the place that he's not from. And how is the boy doing? Anybody? Does he, I don't know, miraculously understand all of the surroundings about him? It's been but a few days.
None of us have any idea if what's happening to him is normal for people, for humans.
By all sense and purposes, you shouldn't be able to talk either, right, Cheese? And he points his finger over to you. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
No!
Yes. Slay me.
No!
This was my good dice. This was a good one. 10.
You look over to him in that moment when his finger very directly in your direction is pointed at. You go from an understanding of the vernacular, letters, words, to reverting slowly back into just barks and growls. That's that one's true nature. Anybody else? Tread lightly. If you lie to me, I could kill you or show you who you really are.
Why are you asking us questions that you already know the answer to? Why are you playing this game?
Because I like to play games, yet I find that my family sometimes doesn't appreciate it. And you know, sometimes games are a way of truly showing us something about ourselves. I tried playing games with my sons, and look at what happened. The Archfey took them away from me.
I think I know why you like playing games. It's because you're incredibly lonely. You don't have anyone to be with that is here of their own free will. Every single person that you interact with is here because you forced them here. Why can't you just be nice?
Make a persuasion check for me with advantage, because that was really good.
That's a dirty 20.
Ow. Cuts deep, the truth. I am perhaps a bit lonely. These puppets don't really mean anything. You don't really mean anything. It's all a facade for something deep within that I'm bearing. You're right. What is not true? Everything around you. You shouldn't even be here. Yet you push forward. You can be going home. You could seek a way out of this craziness. You can be, I don't know, happy. Well, how about this? I'll be nice. I'll be real nice. And he extends his hand to you. Like open palm in your direction, but still standing where he is in the center with everyone. An offering, which you can take now or whenever you choose. But I'll be nice to you, Pond. I'll be real nice to you. For the sake of all of this, since you believe I have all the answers and I know how it all works out, do you all know who Zymus is?
We've heard the name in passing, I suppose. Hired these three to get Floor back.
That's true. You think if I brought Zymus back, allowed him to express himself, you'd believe him, knowing what you know now?
I don't think any of us feel particularly inclined to believe anything any of you say.
Good. And that's how we like to keep it. A family at chaos thrives at its greatest potential. We'll just make this quick. I will return to you your loved ones. I will let you enjoy the celebration. You will give me the boy. And I'll give Pond a gesture of kindness. And we'll just let this all be. Agreed?
We've already told you we don't know where the boy is. He could be anywhere.
We saw him all of 5 minutes ago. If he didn't follow us up, God knows where he ran off to.
And why are you so interested in him anyway? In the sake of honesty.
He's a mind capable of many things. You wondered how rapidly these two managed to, and he points to Cheese and Pond, talk and understand and just be a part of this world. You ever wonder that? It just happens. That's what Wyldacre will do for you. And this boy, which you keep calling him Floor, you are aware his name is Torin, right? And that's his mother right there. And looks over to one of the cages, and that other woman that's just laying limp on the floor. He goes, she's right there. She is dead, of course. But a mind capable of understanding. A fresh young mind that you can influence is a real important thing that one must cherish. One must be able to guide properly. And if we're being fair, I don't think that you four are capable of guiding him in the proper way. He literally has but maybe, days before his mind just combusts.
If I may, you are currently surrounded by mostly corpses. It doesn't seem like you're fit to raise a living thing either.
That's a valid observation. Doesn't hurt to try.
But you've also mentioned that you like to keep your family in cages. If you're raising him, who's to say you're not just going to put him right into a cage? And then what's the point of that?
Yeah, if he has mere days left before he either implodes on himself or explodes all of Wyldacre, what do you plan on doing with him to fix that, to remedy his mind that is growing this rapidly?
I plan on doing many things with the boy. I alone have the ability to help him of this all-consuming feeling that he has. I strip Cheese of it, and I can do the same with him. But let's not fool ourselves. You all brought him here, as you said, because you believed that there was something in it for you. You really did not care, apart from a couple of beautiful eyes and soft skin and the delicate nature of a baby. You really didn't care all that much until later. But if that boy hadn't arrived on your doorsteps, you wouldn't have batted an eye if someone else was carrying him.
We did everything that we did because we were trying to help him. When we first started, we thought that bringing him to the Archfey would be the best, because we thought the Archfey was great. We thought he was strong and powerful and kind. And then we learned that he wasn't, so we changed up our plan, but our goal was always the same.
Are you sure the Archfey is not kind?
No, but if you're going to tell me that he is, why would I believe you? You just told us not to believe anything.
Perfect. And that just joyful looks to Pond and goes, wonderful. And at that point, you feel the space around you grow slightly darker. Omis says, the voracious night draws near. Trust nothing, understand everything, throw all thoughts out the window, whatever you wish. It really does not concern me. We're here just waiting, is what we're doing. We're just waiting until you either give up the boy, or perhaps maybe the boy at some point discovers that he must also come through this end, and at that point, it'll be an entirely different conversation. But once the voracious night is upon us, consider this conversation finished. I only meant to give you all an ability. I spoke with you all. I gave you an opportunity to rise above your meaningless monotony. Town? Boring. Wyldacre is not even controlled chaos. It's just nonsense. What I have planned is I'll take the boy. I'll raise him like I did my sons. I'll show him what he's capable of, and you'll be none the wiser.
And how well did your sons turn out?
Oh, that's layered. That's his doing, and points over to the Archfey, and partly other elements as well. But they tried. They were also very tormented, I would say. They hated each other. severely. There's only so much a father can do, you know?
We are all reflections of our parents.
Quinn, your mother abandoned you. Why? To seek me out? Does she know that she was gonna end up dead? Reconfigured to no longer contain her memory and any understanding of who you are as an individual? Your mother left you. Fiffin has nothing. She's Marikar to an extent. She prayed for me. Nightly. Everybody wants something. We're not just all in it because we have a good heart, right?
Why not? People can be selfish with good intentions. I left because I didn't think that my first family was doing anything good. Quinn's mom left because she had something that she needed to do to help people, to help whoever she could. Marikar was helping herself, but she was taking care of Cheese. And admittedly, I don't know a lot about Fiffin's past, but...
There's nothing to know. You can skip me.
That's so weird and ominous. But he helps people in town. He complains about them, sure. But the fact is, like, you can be selfish and do things for yourself and have good intentions and have it be for others without taking control of things. I don't understand why you need to be in control of things. Why can't you just let people be happy?
Because if I can't control it all, then who will?
I'll do it.
And he begins to laugh in the room, and next to all of you, Awania, Bjordo, and Rook, they just ha 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 ha, stagnant but weird chuckles and laughter. Omis then looks around to everyone and goes, "My sons meant everything to me, and I wanted to give them a chance to prove themselves. And someone stripped them of that. That was not my doing. I may have selfish reasons, but perhaps my intentions are good. Maybe the way I go about them may not be how you go about them, but I'm seeking the same thing you're all seeking. A family."
Did Sire strip them of it?
No, no, no. Sire gave them the ability to test themselves somewhere far away. It was a plague that ended my sons. Outsiders with good intentions like you all. It's too much to tell at this point. But I think you're good. And then points over to you, Cheese. And you find everything reverts back, and you find consciousness, and you find words.
Oh, that one was way worse the second time. Oh, it all in a second.
Okay, I've done my part. I will let things be. You don't want to hand over the boy? I'll go find him. You all can stay here if you wish amongst your brothers and sisters. Consider this home eternally now. It'll be but some time before the Jasper completely takes over the entire room. But I tried to give the boy at least a fighting chance. Yet you all think I don't know, I made all this, into my liking, into what I wanted? No, I saw a path, and I got lost along the path. So you all helped me. And in that, thank you. All of you. But we're done with this conversation. We don't really need to keep up the facade anymore.
Do you ever think, Omis, there's a reason your sons sought a path other than you? That it was your fault? That you drove them away? Did you ever consider that?
Sometimes. But you don't know anything about my sons.
I don't think we need to know anything about your sons.
We know enough about you.
This conversation has told us plenty about you as an individual, and you as someone who clearly doesn't understand family to begin with. So, there's no changing your mind. I don't really know why we decided to have this conversation, but it was nice to enlighten us on who you are, what you're doing, why you want Floor. And God, I hope he's far gone by now. Because if you get a hold of him, I'm terrified for that kid. terrified of what you'll do to Wyldacre as a whole. So what do we do here? The Jasper just takes over the room and kills us? We're not going to change your mind and you're not going to change ours, so just stalemate right here.
Very well. Then we'll just keep it at a stalemate. I gave you an opportunity. You wish not to take it. Then we'll just leave it as it is.
I want to make one thing kind of clear here. We're not hiding Floor from you right now. He just didn't follow us in. You said it yourself. We're not good caretakers. We didn't notice until we were already in here that he wasn't following us.
I mean, in light of all the honesty here, I jumped and didn't even look back.
He's a teen. We're not gonna know where he is most of the time.
And we have to give him his freedom. He has to venture and explore, and something you clearly don't understand about raising your children, or else they wouldn't have run away from you.
Pond, when you say that, there is like a lethargic experience that you feel for a brief moment. Being honest about the fact that you just forgot Floor, you regain 5 hit points.
Oh, shit.
And you watch as Omis, he squints his eyes slightly and he goes, "That's all very well. I'm glad you can admit that you're not good caretakers, and then let the boy make his choice. Let him choose who he wants to spend the rest of eternity with. The 4 of you in makeshift land, or he can come with me, or better yet, let's make it interesting, or he can go with Zymus." And he points his finger and you watch as the lion, the strings that are holding onto him let go, and some color comes back, and slight cough followed by gurgle as this Leonin now sits there, squinting his eyes and opening them up in your direction. "What is the meaning of this, Omis?" "A simple conversation amongst some kidnappers. I have brought them before you. You may do with them as you please. These are the individuals that took the baby." And you watch as Zymus gets up and he goes, "Excuse me?"
Yeah, excuse me also, sir. I'd like to point out, we didn't do any true kidnapping. We were handed a baby and we said, oh, this would be a good gift. And then it all changed from there. But it sounds like he's also a kidnapper, so don't go pointing fingers around here. Also, we weren't done talking, Omis. Don't bring in another party. We'll get to you, Zymus, in a second. I still want to talk to you for something.
Official, Zymus. Do you see their ramblings? Incoherent nonsense. These are the 4 that took the child away from his original plane. Do with them as you need to. You watch as Zymus gets up and he goes, "I'm sorry, where are we?" "Zymus, you have been brought back to His Majesty's temple. I have done my duty as a loyal servant right hand of the Archfey and have...
Oh, this bitch.
...delivered the inconsistency." You watch as Zymus, he goes, "The child must be returned to their home. Very well, then. We shall have the 4 of you apprehended."
Hold on, Zymus.
Hold on. He's lying. Oh my god, he's lying so hard right now.
Can I cast a spell?
Sure.
I'd like to cast Fast Friends on Zymus. A wisdom save from Zymus, please.
14.
That fails.
Ooh, save the day.
When you cast a spell, choose one humanoid within range that can see and hear you, and that can understand you. The creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw. While the creature is charmed in this way, it undertakes to perform any service or activities you ask of it in a friendly manner to the best of its ability. All I want to say to him is, Zymus, help us get Torin home. We're on the same side.
Looks over to you and he goes, "We are on the same side. We must get the boy home.
Yes.
Yes.
Good job, Pond.
How do we do that?
I must take the boy home. I was tasked by the Archfey to return the boy home. So let's return the boy home." And you watch as Omis goes, "No, please, Zymus, don't." Very Shakespearean-like overdoing of the acting. So much so that all of you can clearly see through it, and you hear the snickering of the other 3 just, Father is good. Father knows." Cheese, Fiffin, and Quinn, go ahead and give me Wisdom saving throws.
Okay, I rolled a 14. I am going to use my reaction for Flash of Genius on myself to add 4 to that.
I'm going to use my inspiration point.
18 on the die plus 8 for a 26.
I cannot roll higher than 10. 10 total.
Cheese, you look over as Bjordor is still just talking your direction, and Fiffin and Quinn, as they're speaking, Father knows best. Just for a brief second, you manage to blink, and when you come to, it's not Bjordor, nor Rook, nor Wania sitting in front of you, but it is an owlin figure, a woman seemingly resembling that of what Jesus described of Marikar, and then the other woman. Flashes before you, and you see that they are actually almost in a shell, encased within these individuals. So much so that the facade is not able to pass through. But Cheese, you still keep on believing it. You still see before you the same individuals that you've encountered multiple times throughout your entire adventure, if you will. And Simus gets up and he goes, all right then, Pond, is it? Let's find the boy and return back home. Wherever home is for this kid. Let's do it, friend. You and I.
Let's do it. And I then look at Omis like all angry, like, you shouldn't play games because you cheat.
My hands are clear on this one. So all of you watch as Zymus gets up from his stump, basically limp over towards Pond. He reaches down and stands next to him. And Omis goes, Zymus, do you not want to take your troop with you? You don't want to do things properly as you will, as up to code, as you like to say? And Zymus, he goes, Pond, I may have to... I hired some people to help me. I was wondering if it would be alright if they came with us.
I don't see why not, as long as you keep them in line.
Then let's go ahead and do that. Hee-haw, Bjordor, Rook, Wania, come with me. And you watch as the 3 individuals that are sitting there and then the limp body of Hee-haw all turn their heads towards Omis, and Gomis goes, go on, do what you have to do. They get up and shimmy and not walk properly in the direction of Simus. It's this sort of very puppeteer show that's happening in front of you where everything's just slightly not making sense and everything just seems slightly off. Simus looks at you and goes, all right, Pond, where's the boy?
I'm not sure. I think, if I'm being honest, between you and me, I think that Omis has been keeping something from us.
I never liked Omis. Whenever he first set foot in these lands, I never cared for him all that much. So I agree with you. There's something about me that is still wanting to impress him. And I think in time, you all will get there. But just take care, friend, for now. How long does the spell last?
1 hour. As long as I stay concentrating on it.
You watch as everybody walks, and Omis, he looks then to Fiffin and Quinn and goes, so will you be staying? Will you be following along? See, this is where we hit the crossroads. Your loved ones are still here with me.
Are they? Quinn, I don't know if you saw it, but the puppets almost shifted. How do we know this isn't just an illusion? All of it. Who says that Wania's not Quinn's mom right now? The one walking out with us.
You are quite keen at illusions, aren't you, Omis? You hide it quite well.
Is one of the 4, Wania, Rook, Bjordor, or even Hee-haw at this point, is one of them close enough to me to where I can touch them?
They're all essentially starting to arrive in your direction. They'll be within your space, within 10 feet.
After I finish that sentence about illusions and how do we know that we don't have what we're looking for right here, I will reach out my hand, almost inviting one of the 4 to come in and just feel secure and safe in this party.
Make a persuasion check.
24.
You watch as Rook lumbers over to you and you extend your hand out and just wide-eyed goes to reach for you and goes, "Are you my brother now?"
I think we might be. We might be best buds now. And again, we kind of shimmied the rules on this last time. Can I cast Identify on him when we hold hands? When I finally grasp his hand and bring him close, I would love to cast Identify.
You touch Rook's hand, cold to the touch. You feel an emptiness. You feel like a hollowed sense comes over you as you touch his hand. And when you can pinpoint it, it feels very much like a jar. It feels what it's like when you have an empty container and you stuff something within it. And then what it's like when that container feels full. You feel that sensation when you're shaking hands with Rook, that you're feeling an emptiness within him, but a weight that he carries. And then Omis, he looks over to you and he goes, "I'd be careful with that one."
He seems harmless, I'm sure.
Can be. Rook was abandoned when he was a child. These lands have been home to him for some time until he found Simus. And Simus granted him a new chance, a new opportunity to focus. And so the righteous path was Rook's path. But Rook was meddled with anger, resentment towards the family he never knew. Who would leave a boy all alone? Beautiful chaos. Have fun, Rook. I'll see you later, boy. Rook turns around, he goes, "Thank you, Father. Thank you for letting me see." Quinn, where are you in all of this?
Quinn is racking her little brain to try and figure out what is real and what isn't. She's looking at Wanya and at Rook and at Bjordor, and she's looking at Omis and the Archfey, and she's looking at the mom, and she's looking at her mom, and she's looking at Markar, and she's trying to discern what in this room is real and what is fake, because she knows that this guy can create illusions on a grand scale. So Quinn is purposely staying silent and watching for any crack, any movement of the curtain to see if she can see behind it.
Make an investigation check for me.
Don't forget your monocle.
Oh, my monocle! I put my monocle on! She's just observing and just very slowly brings a feather up and is just like, 18 investigation plus 11 for a 29, dude.
You panic in that moment and you're beginning to look around. You observe the creature encased in Jasper that you've been told is horrible, yet remains in Jasper. You look at the cages around. You see your loved ones seemingly unconscious, but you swore that you just saw a projection of them, if you will, in the space where these 3 vigilantes have been. You don't know what to trust. You don't know what to believe. Yet it almost all feels like it's meant to be like that. It all feels like it's meant to confuse you. It feels like it's all meant to misguide you, to disinform you. None of it makes any sense. Why do we have a conversation if we're not going to have a conversation? Why are you seeking the boy if you are also just as horrible? Why guide us in the right path if you're just going to guide us in this way? It all clicks into it, and it's, at least on a first glance, it feels like it's not meant to make sense. Yet he's not reacting. He's waiting.
He's stalling.
Simus looks to you, Pond, and he goes, "I don't know how to reach the boy. If we have a way of speaking with him, we'd want him to know that he's going to be safe. And wherever we return him, he will be handed off to the proper rights. That is my duty. I return creatures that are not meant to coexist in different planes of existence back to their respective homes. You are on my ledger, and so is Cheese, and many others outside of these halls. So he may be confused right now, he may be experiencing a higher sense of self, And he's volatile right now. He's like a ticking bomb. His mind is way too fragile to be here at the stage that he was brought. If you have a way of communicating with the boy, I would suggest this would be the time. Rook, and he looks over, and Rook robotically turns its head towards Simus. Yes, Simus. Can you please prepare yourselves for meeting of the boy? This will all come to a shock to him, so we must be able to assess where his mind currently will be. You got it. Anybody have a way of reaching out to the boy?
Wish I could.
Do we want to bring him here? I get that Zymus is trying to bring him home, but we are still deep into Omus territory.
Omus, is your deal still available? Or have you reneged that and labeled yourself untrustworthy?
What do you propose, Pond?
Let us go, and we'll find him. Us and our loved ones.
He curls his lip and he narrows his eyes. And if you find him, then...
You like to play games, and I'm willing to play with you. I think that if we can find him, and you can reach us and convince him yourself without cheating, eyes narrow, then we'll bring him here and we'll play your games. We'll play in a way that's fair for everyone.
Make a persuasion check.
That's a natural 20, so 28.
Omus looks to you and he goes, no cheating, just honesty.
Our goals remain the same. You still know what we want, and we know what you want.
What do you want, Pond?
We want him to go home. We want him to be safe, and we want the people to be happy. And I want you to be nice.
I think I can try that. I think I can. The deal still stands. Find the boy, bring him here, and then we'll have a conversation about honesty and truth. If he hasn't turned already.
By turn, do you mean exploded?
No. And then Simus looks to you and he goes, upon the night of the voracious coming of the moons, Omus can control it all. He can see through it all. And that boy is a radiating ball of arcane potential. Omus knows where he is. He's always known where he is. And he's gonna stop at nothing to get his hands on that boy. You'll all succumb to it as well. He thrives in this chaos. Your deal is good, but it won't hold. Find the boy and let's leave. We have to leave. Rook places his hand on his shoulder and he goes, now that's not fair. That's not what Father said. Waynia looks to you, Quinn, and goes, you can't leave. You can't. I love you, Quinn.
I hate you, Waynia.
She looks over. Her neck coils back as a single tear comes down from her eye.
I'll look at Omus like, can you stop that?
Omus looks again and he says, that's definitely not me. Can somebody roll a D100?
I will. Oh, look at that. 72.
When you say that to Waynia, you watch as her body go limp and then fall and just like hit the ground. And this sort of white, wispy, fog-like body comes out of it and resembles your mother. And it begins to float upwards. And then Omus goes, this is none of my doing. Partly. And then from behind you, you hear the voice of Floor. But it is mine.
Hey, buddy.
No,
Hey.
why would you do that? Okay.
And for the next minute, you have resistance to all damage, Quinn.
Whoa.
Damn.
You watch as Omus, he turns over and he goes, are you here, lad? And no response from Floor. And you watch as Omus, he has this sort of toga black attire that resembles like infinite number of stars contained from within. and he pushes his arm through it so the top of it at least comes down and exposes this very muscular, large chest with what looks like tattoos of different levels of circles that sort of expand further and further away. And as he's standing there, this black tentacle come out from his back and slowly begins to crawl over in the direction of Waynia. And the black tentacle grabs the top of her head and then lifts her up. And then Oma says, "This was mine, boy. Not yours to claim." And there's that anger about him as he's holding the lifeless body of Waynia above. Fiffin, from where you're standing, right next to one of the cages, just sitting there, almost like observing all of it, but beginning a slight crawl, you see Yermo crawling in the direction of Omis.
How did he get here?
Does he still look red eyes? Does he look like he's crawling maliciously?
Make an investigation check.
Oh my gosh, that's also a nat 20 for 28.
Doesn't seem malicious, but seems keen on intent, keen on goal to get into that direction. To lay out the room, Omis stands there now with one tentacle that is almost coming out from his back, holding the limp body of Waynia, as this white ghost-like spirit that resembles your mother slightly, Quinn, is beginning to float higher and higher and higher in the room. All of the rest of the party are standing by where you entered from. To descend the well, the sand was going downward. It seemed like there was only one way to go down, and then to ascend, the sand was pointing upward like a pyramid. Perhaps there is no way of heading downward, but Floor is seemingly also in this room with you all. From what you can perceive, wherever he is might be hiding. And Yermo is now crawling in the direction of Omis. And Omis looks over and he goes, "You know what? Let's do this. All of you go. Please." And he snaps his finger, and the Jasper in front of the door shrinks away. And he says, "Leave. Floor, as they call you, know that you have a name. Your name is Torin. Your father didn't want you. Your mother died because of his mistakes. And you ended up here in the care of these selfish creatures that wanted to give you up as a reward."
Hey. And Quinn's gonna fly into the air and kind of like snap her beak. Or you can look at it like this. You have a family here that loves you and cares about you, and this guy sucks.
And probably killed your mom.
Quinn, you regain 5 hit points.
Yeah.
And Omis stops and he goes, "Torin, what you feel now, I can give you everything to channel that towards good. Yes, I'm not the prettiest creature to see. I'm simply me. And I'll tell you this. You can follow these individuals, head back home. I'll remain here until eventually you find your way here again. We're tied together. Forever. Torin."
I don't think there's anything written that says that, actually. It's entirely your choice, Floor/Torin, whatever you want to be called. Just know that he totally drove away his own sons and will likely do the same thing to you. But you're free to make the choice that you want. We're trying to get you home. That's what this fella wants to do too, our friend.
You hear as Floor says, "I know that, Pond, but I feel that he knows. He knows more than any of us. And I want to see him. I want to seek him out." And you watch as this invisible barrier fade away, and there you see teenage Floor standing before you. And his eyes are this bloodshot, vibrant red, and he's looking over at Omis. I feel that I love you all, but he has something else. And if it's okay, I'd like to go with him."
Wait.
And I look over at Omis.
I said no cheating.
"Fair." And he pushes his body forward with his hand stretched out, And Floor's eyes, they revert back to their normal color. And he's there looking at Floor. And Floor's looking at you all. And Omis is looking at everyone. And Floor goes, "Father, thank you." And he begins to walk in the direction of Omis. And Omis looks to you, Pond, and he says, "It is inevitable for the mind to break after a certain point. No cheating. Just chaos." Simus looks over to you, Pond, and he says, "There's something bigger here that we do not fully understand. We have to wake the Archfey."
If you have any suggestions about how to do that, we'd love to hear them.
Are we still trying words?
I think we might be past that now.
Omis, he looks over and he says, "Torin, thank you, boy, for coming to your senses. Forget the life you knew," and you watch as just mindlessly Floor is still just lumbering in his direction, and he's just speaking to him now, not speaking to any of you. And he says, "I know what you're feeling. Desperation. You feel your mind is breaking. You were not meant to be here, lad. And I'm sorry these creatures drove you deeper into it. But if we're being honest, what is chaos if not absolute power?" And you watch as Floor get closer and closer, and Yermo, who is like crawling past, he looks over and he like tries to grab Floor's foot. As Floor continues moving forward, now he's dragging this baby Yermo with him closer and closer. He looks up and he goes, "And what of the Archfey, father? He cannot hurt us. You are safe. You are protected. I will guide you. From this day, forget your name. You're not Floor. You're not Torin. From this day forward, you shall be known as Xander." And you watch at that point, when Wania is being held up, her body begins to morph slightly, and you see Rook and Bjordor, and their bodies begin to shift as well. And from them, these two white ghosts emerge, one of Marakar, and another of perhaps that woman that seems to be Floor's mother. And they all begin to float up into space. And from behind Omis, these 6 black tentacles emerge. And they wrap around and they grab the body of Rook, they grab the body of Bjordor, and they drag them all over. And then as he's sort of Omis is standing there with his arms open and these black tentacles holding 4 bodies, limp, sustained in the space, he looks to you, Pond, and he goes, "No tricks. No cheating. This was always meant to be the case. You were meant to bring the boy here. He is meant to do this. This is the path that we have foreseen for him for some time. It's all wonderful to tell this fairy tale of family and unity and existential potential. This boy is mine, and I will rain hellfire on the rest of the universe, if need be." And he takes the 4 bodies that have been hoisted and lingering above, and very much like venom, this black ichor begins to take over their bodies, and the 4 tentacles come up and they smash the bodies together, splatter black paint all across the space, but it's this very much alive black ichor that begins to crawl all around. This goop falls onto the center of the floor and begins to writhe and continue on as Floor reaches down and picks up Yermo. And he holds them and he goes, "And what of the Archfey, father? Kill him." I need somebody to roll a D100.
38.
All of you, roll a D20 for me and tell me what number you get.
I got an 11.
16.
10.
A 5.
The more confused you all got, the more you lost yourself. When you started making sense of it all, and when you started asking questions, and you were being honest about what is happening, you started regaining pieces of yourself. and that seemingly affected Omis. Fiffin and Pond, because you guys rolled higher, and actually 10 for you as well, Cheese, you find that there is possibly many different forms of negotiating with this individual. But as of right now, this individual has a goal and has something that they're executing. So you have time, but you have to think quickly on your feet as to what you want to do.
This is gonna hurt.
Rowlatham Psychic Lance on floor. I'm panicking, and if Omis is supposed to get all of his power from this, Pond is willing to take away the source of power.
Bestie.
I'm just going to try and distract. I'd also like to cast Hunter's Mark on Omis.
For Rowlatham's, I'll need an intelligence save.
13.
That fails. 7d6 of damage, which will be only 17 damage.
Oh.
So I rolled low, but he is incapacitated.
I would like to raise the bark gauntlet, laser pointer from the gem right at Yermo, and cast Vortex Warp on Yermo. Not teleport him to us, but try to teleport him as close to the Archfey in the Jasper as I possibly can.
Quinn, while this is happening, give me an intelligence check. It shoots straight in the direction of Floor as he's holding his back to you all. He's holding Yermo. It hits him square in the back. And he, for a brief second, almost seems to let go as he finds himself stuck and trying to comprehend what is happening. Almost for a brief second, his eyes widen, and you raise your bark gauntlet, and the Vortex Warp takes Yermo from the space that he's at, and then almost on top of the Jasper, drops it, and little baby Yermo begins to fall on top of the Jasper. And as he lands on it, he begins to pound on it. As Floor stands there, Omis says, "You see, my boy, they will always hurt you. They will always do this to you. So let's go." And he grabs Floor by the shoulder, and he vanishes. And in that moment, the black blob that's in the center of the room begins to form itself into these longer hands that slam onto the hall. You hear this whispering, almost echoed noise of gasping for air as 3 heads emerge from the black goop, and you see them as forms of the heads of the individuals that you knew, but in a much more serpent-like texture. You can still make out who Wayne is, who Rook is, but all of a sudden the necks begin to be engulfed in feathers, charred black feathers. And at the very center of what looks like a big body, almost like a dragon-like body, that O begins to form with the black goop, and this gray-scale matter begins to form around them. As before you, this creature now stands in front of the Archfey, and its attention goes to Yermo. And as it turns, completely avoiding you all, Simus drops, lifeless, limp, completely as he was before, now that Omis has gone from the room. I need you all to roll initiative.
Did you want my intelligence check?
Yes.
15.
The medicine that you were given for Floor, you were told very specifically not to overdo it. You were told a drop a day is what you need. You have 2 drops left of the medicine, since you stuck in time when you visited the Archdevil. You don't know what would happen if you were to overdose the medication with the Jasper. Cheese.
17.
Fiffin.
Nat 1 for a 4.
Pond.
24.
And Quinn.
Not 1 for a 5.
Hey,
Wow.
Hey.
So with this, top of the round, Pond with Cheese, then Quinn, and Fiffin. So with that, Pond, what are you doing?
So he kind of looks like he's breaking mentally just a little bit with everything that's been going on and how it already feels like things are failing. And he's just staring at the floor and quietly,
Stop it. Stop it! And cast Hold Monster.
Whoa.
Wisdom save, please.
That is a 19.
That passes. Unfortunate.
So you attempt to hold the creature and you see the black slush that now makes up its body and its arms and these Hydra-like heads that come out and resemble the faces of the creatures that have been following you this whole time. It's too much and you lose focus of the hold spell and it does not take effect. We have Cheese with Quinn on deck.
I am going to cast Hunter's Mark on it first. Lets me do an additional 1d6. And then I'm going to run past Pond, diagonal down to the right, just basically up the red carpet here. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. I'm going to make 2 attacks. That is a 17.
That hits.
And the second attack is 21.
That also hits.
I leap into my my Street Fighter form, pummeling it for 12 total. And because I have a Dread Ambusher, I can make an additional 3rd attack on my first turn. That's a nat 20.
Oh,
Nice.
snap. Let's go.
So for that last roll, you're just going to max what the roll dice would be. You're just going to max that number and then add any additional numbers to it.
Okay, so 6 plus 3. Then I'm going to add my Dread Ambusher to that, so it's another d8. And that is 4, so an additional 4 damage. Hunter's Mark lets me add 1d6 to every attack I make. So I get 3 more d6.
Sheesh.
Let's go.
That is 9 more damage.
12 plus 12 plus 9.
I'm going to use the rest of my movement speed to get back. So 45, I would get another 30. I have mobile, which means I don't take opportunity attacks. So I'm going to use it to move behind the pillar.
Okay, so that's 33 points. You watch as when Cheese strikes this creature, it breaks away at what looks like a body that's like still trying to morph and find itself amongst the black sludge. And it seemed to do a fairly bit of damage. One of the hand crashes down and forms into a support to writhe itself up. But that was a good round. Quinn with Fiffin on deck.
I was going to fly up to get the spirit of my mom. And then I realized about the medicine and the Jasper and watched this amalgamation come together, and I watched him take Floor, and I'm watching this thing try and go after Guillermo. So Quinn is going to fly past the creature and to the Archfey, and I want to drop the whole vial right onto the Jasper that's holding the Archfey.
You can get essentially right in front of the creature with 30 feet.
Okay.
I know that you wanted to drop the vial, but you can use your action to dash if you wanted to.
And drop the vial. Could I do that?
Dropping the vial, I would count it as a bonus action.
Stunning, gorgeous, and lovely. I will do that then. I will use my action to dash. I want to try and go around him so I don't get him to attack me. Or maybe over him, like I'll fly over him. As I'm kind of flying over him, I'll just say, "Leave my boys alone!" And I'll drop the vial on the Archfey and hope it just shatters onto the Jasper.
Go ahead and give me an acrobatics check.
Oh my god. Okay, acrobatics. That's a 16 plus 8 for my acrobatics.
As you're flying through, the heads come up and try to snatch at you, closing in, and they turn around and just, "Quinn, come back, my love." And the head coil and try to grab at you as you're passing through. But you land on top of the Jasper and you let go of the vial of medicine and it shatters. All of the liquids spread throughout the Jasper. And you watch as this begins to... I'll let you tell me this. If the Archfey is sitting on the throne with one hand slightly stretched out, if you were to drop it specifically onto the Archfey, where would you drop it?
I would have wanted to drop it right on top of the crown, like the crown of his head, because I want him to perceive what's going on as soon as possible. So I want his eyes to be open as fast as they can be.
You fly past and you drop the vial right in the space by where his face is. And you watch as when the liquid hits, it begins to eat away at the Jasper very, very rapidly. to the point where all of the Jasper shoots back, and it's just the exposed face of the Archfey that is still doing nothing. Fiffin, what are you doing? And then it's the creature's turn.
Oh, Fiffin is going 5 feet southeast, covering behind the pillar and pond. As I duck behind pond real quick, the bark gauntlet opens up in the palm, and almost like a vacuum begins to just suck the air from in front of me, anything and everything. I would like to cast Reduce onto the monster as some of the black ichor just gets sucked up into the gauntlet, hopefully reducing its mass a little bit so we can try to take advantage of it. That is a con save, please.
16.
Oh, that is the DC. No.
Stop rolling so good.
You pass over, you extend your gauntlet out, and you try to reduce it. You watch as some of the black ichor try to diminish itself, extinguish, and then you lose the control of it, and you just see it swinging wildly around like a mind of its own, trying to take shape.
Good luck, Pond. And I duck behind the pillar and bonus action hide, please.
We're gonna go ahead and go. It's gonna make a multi-attack against you, Quinn, because you are right there. So this one is going to be an 11 to hit.
No!
And then for the next one, I actually need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. All right, well, I get a +1 bonus to all saving throws because of my aura of protection, and I grant all friendly creatures within 10 feet of me, including myself, +1 bonus to saving throws. I just learned that. Oh my gosh, 17 on the dice. +5, +1, 23.
You watch as the creature, one of the heads, coils back and seems to try to contain something in its mouth that just gurgles and and shoots it over in your direction. This semi-translucent, grayish, acid-like spit hit the tile and the stone behind you, and it begins to smelt away at it. Seemingly, you avoided it completely. Top of the round, Pond with cheese. You watch at this point, I'll say at the top of the round, you now see that Yermo is now beginning to crawl in the direction of where the exposed face of the Archfey is.
I'm still having a lot of difficulty dealing with the situation, and that last bit of failure in that last round, that was a little tough. And so Pond's just like crumbling. He falls to like a sitting pose.
Please stop.
I'm throwing out another Rowlathans. That's an intelligence save.
It's 11 minus 4. 7.
Oh, perfect. So that fails. Let's hit it with some damage, and it's incapacitated until the start of my next turn. And that is 30 psychic damage.
In the midst of all of that fear and feeling frozen state that you're inhabiting, how do you take down this creature?
Whoa.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, shit.
As the ray shoots out, and it encompasses the creature as it begins to writhe and still can't find its form, and it begins to shrivel back. You tell me, Pon.
When the lance hits it and it starts freaking out, I assume it either will melt or pop or something. Pond is just like, it doesn't matter. Like he just still feels like it's like he failed. He lost Floor. He then attacked Floor because he didn't know what to do and got scared and just reacted because he thought he was going to hurt Yermo, and is just like, even though he can see that something is happening in front of him, he's not even like comprehending that he's won. He's just staring at the floor.
When the ray hits, the creature, this like amalgamation of different sounds and screams as it begins to writhe and coil, and then it falls, but as it falls into that same black sludge. It creates this bubbling puddle in front of you that lets go of this light trail of smoke with each bubble popping. Cheese, Quinn, and Fiffin, the creature for this round is down. What are you guys doing?
Do we think it's dead?
Doesn't seem like it. That bubbling energy is still permeating, but you don't know to what extent you have done irreparable damage.
Pond, you did it, buddy. That guy wasn't so tough after all.
I'm gonna run up to Pond. I notice that he's looking distraught. Pond?
Are you all right, buddy?
Pond? I'll kind of headbutt him a little bit.
I thought that Floor wouldn't choose him. I feel like I made the wrong choice.
I don't think you did. I don't think you made the wrong choice. And I don't think Floor would choose him. There was something wrong with Floor.
I'm just struggling to grasp it all.
Fiffin would almost like trains passing in the night. Cheese runs up to Pond. I'm running opposite way towards Quinn, seeing that she's trying to get the Archfey out of the Jasper. And the juice isn't really working as much as we wanted. So just out of panic, cast a second level shatter, almost at the base of the Jasper. It would get a little bit of the creature if it's still like writhing on the floor. It would still be in it, so it's a con save from the Jasper and the creature.
Creature fails 1 death saving throw automatically.
Oh,
We're doing death saves for this fool.
Go ahead and roll damage and tell me what that damage is.
it is 14 thunder damage onto almost like the base of the Jasper. I'm assuming like, I want to say right at the base, like right where the feet meet the throne.
You let go of the spell. It hits on the base of it, and you watch as from where the exposed face of the Archfey is, the rest of the Jasper cracks beneath him and just follows a straight line down to the ground. Even the ground itself shatters and it breaks. The bubbling of the creature diminishes for a second, and it becomes just like a stagnant black pool. And then pieces of the Jasper begin to fall from the very front of the Archfey. Yet there's still no color, yet there is no life, there is nothing. And there's so much more Jasper to go. And Yermo keeps walking, getting closer and closer to the face of the Archfey.
As Fiffin is going to cast the Shatter, I will use like 5 feet of movement, grab little Yermo and lift him off the Jasper so the Shatter doesn't hurt him, because he's just a baby. I will kind of hover, holding him, and noticing he just is really trying to get to his face, the Archfey's exposed face. I'm gonna flap him down so he can touch the Archfey. I want to let him do what he wants to do. So I'm gonna see if I can't get him where he needs to go, because I trust that he's kind of the missing piece of this. So I'm gonna aid him in whatever he's trying to do. If he's trying to touch the Archfey, I'm gonna get him to a place where he can do that.
In that moment, you fly around, you pick up Yermo, the Shatter spell echoes in the halls. But Yermo, there's something about him that he's just like still reaching with his hands, very much like Floor did when he was a baby, reaching for the Archfey. So you bring him closer, and you watch as his horns begin to glow. And then the Archfey's eyes open. And there are these blinding lights as Yermo reaches over and places his hand on the forehead of the Archfey. And a light begins to boom out from the center of the Jasper. Brighter and brighter and brighter, until you hear the Shatter explodes everywhere in a blinding light. You don't feel Yermo anymore. He's gone from your grip. But standing there in the room is Yermo, who steps aside, and the Archfey stands up next to him. And that's what will end tonight's session. Thank you all so much for listening. Catch us in 2 weeks, where we will see where this adventure here in Wyldacre finally ends.
Nigel, nacho fries are back at Taco Bell. I got some.
Ryan, I don't care one bit because they fucking suck.
They're so good.
In what world?
I put them in my cheesy gordita crunch.
You put them directly in your ass if you could.
I would. What do you think the nacho cheese is there for?
Gross. Really gross.